In today's Minecraft Redstone video, we're going to be looking at this guy. Or I should say we're going to be looking, and then not looking, and then looking, and then not looking, and seeing if we can do something useful with that. For those who don't know, this is the Creaking. While I am staring at him, he isn't going to do anything. As soon as I turn around, however, he is able to move. So I think this means that I can make redstone contraptions that only work when you're looking at them. And just as a quick disclaimer, I have no clue if any of this is going to work. So I am very curious. If I'm in survival mode... Okay, I'm looking at this guy and he's been pushed over to this side. Is he able to walk against the water stream? Oh gosh, I forgot about this other one. Oh, but okay, hang on. I've just realized something. When I'm looking at the Creaking, he doesn't bob up and down in the water? Yeah, okay. Oh no! I really need to do something about this one! Could this potentially be even more magnified if we have soul sand here? Okay, no change. But when I'm looking, sinks down to the bottom. When I'm not looking, pops up to the top. Looking, sinks down to the bottom. Not looking, pops up to the top. This is way easier than what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to have like pushing chambers. Because literally all we need is this. And that should do the trick. So as soon as we're looking in this direction, the redstone lamp turns off. But as soon as we look away, the redstone lamp switches on. Looking, off, not looking, on. I mean, that's pretty good. This is like a way better system than I expected it to be. It's actually quite fast. So that has gone remarkably well, but let's think of some alternatives. This design is a little bit smaller because it doesn't use tripwires, and also it feels like it works just a tiny bit faster. But there are very rare occasions where this guy will drop enough to activate the pressure plate. So in situations where that's going to cause a major problem, I'd probably recommend using a slab up here, which will slow things down a little bit, but it will make it 100% reliable. Now, just to clarify, can this guy be behind a wall? Okay, no, so he has to have line of sight. That is interesting. I think it's time we start building some redstone contraptions. And the first build that I want to do today is heavily inspired by something that was in Etho's LP world maybe 10 years ago. He built this storage system that would open up when you walk inside, and I've always thought that was awesome. And I want to recreate it today, but make it so that when you look at the storage system, the chests will be revealed. All right, so I've laid out all of the pistons. I'm now placing in all of the chests and things. And honestly, now that I think about it, how am I going to do this? Because it needs line of sight. Oh, this might actually be difficult. Okay, current plan of action is just to ignore that potential problem and crack on with the build. So I've got this currently, and it looks great. It looks really, really cool. Now I'm going to make the assumption that if I just put our guy back here and look in this general direction... Yeah. That is to be expected. I mean, the system, I think, would work. It does work. But I have to be behind it. So I guess one thing that I could potentially do is we could have this little gap here. I mean, does that look completely pants? It feels like it looks completely pants and also still doesn't work. But I'm committed to making this function. This is a little bit more messy than I first expected. But I have managed to pull it off, and I have to say, this storage system is really satisfying. If I just flip myself into survival mode here, you can see that every direction that I look in, the chests are revealed. It feels magical. Don't get me wrong, like, this is pointless, okay? This is not a useful thing. It is purely for decoration and for style points. But there is something that feels so incredibly cool about being able to control redstone with your vision. This is not something that we've ever had in survival Minecraft before. It's these sorts of little details that make a base feel alive and make it feel integrated with the player. And as you can see, the redstone behind it is actually really quite simple. We've got a little pressure plate, which is activating the redstone lines that run into all the pistons. The key to making this thing function is making sure that we have true line of sight with our Creaking, and that relies on there not being a block here and not being a block here. So we've got the slab, which allows the eye line, and then also the ender chest, which acts as a transparent block. Very, very cool. But let's see if we can do something more vision specific. Now, what I really wanted to do is make one of these where we don't have to use wind charges. Instead, we can just look in the direction of the pixel that we want to paint, and it will paint it. Obviously, you'd have to hold eye contact for a certain amount of time, otherwise painting would be quite difficult. But in my testing, I've realized it's actually a little bit impractical. Firstly, the pixels would have to be quite big. They'd have to be 5 by 5. But also, the range of the creaking is a little bit too short to do something on that scale. So you can see here, if I go out of the range, this guy will pop up. But not only that, if we then go within range, it takes a really long time for it to realize that I'm looking at it. Now, just to be clear, this only happens when you go out of range while looking at it. You can see while I'm this far away, it detects things and it realizes what's going on. But as soon as I go out of range and then come back into range, it's almost like it loses the ability to recognize where I'm looking. So that would make a build like the Pixel Painter a little bit frustrating, but honestly, that's a really niche use case. What might not be a niche use case is directional minecarts. I want to make a minecart rail where you can choose the direction that you go at a crossroads by looking in the direction. So again, we've got our creaky boy over here set up with the pressure plate, and I thought I would create this little slice here, because obviously if we're just looking straight forwards, and there's no slice, then we're going to see this guy and always turn right. So we need to make it so that it's blocked off, and only if we're specifically looking right will it work. Okay, first test is making sure that we can actually go straight forward. So if I'm just looking straight on, we have gone left. That is good news. Now, if I take that same minecart, hit the button, and specifically look right, that is very good news. Okay. Is this reliable, or did I just get really lucky? I'm going to look dead straight on. I think this actually works, you know. Let's do it again. Now I am looking right. Yeah, this is reliable. This is reliable. I think it's repeatable. It works every single time. I've now done it 4 or 5 times. So if you've got a minecart rail that you generally want to go in one direction for, but occasionally want to go in a different direction, this is the move. That being said, minecart rails are often in the Nether, and we can't have water in the Nether. This is really, really stupid. But, I mean, what would happen if this was lava? Because I know that you need to kill the creaking hearts for the creaking to die. So will... Oh my goodness. It works the same. Yep, he can just chill in lava. Okay, so this works in the Nether as well. That is legitimately useful. I would say this is useful. But while I was thinking of Nether options, I thought of a way to potentially make this smaller. If we can get a creaking to fit inside of a cauldron, then it can make the whole thing smaller. But no, looking at the size of the hitbox, yeah, there is no chance that it is going in there. I have, however, been playing around a little bit with some alternative ideas of powering, and this setup seems to be good. Okay, yeah, so that is working. We've got the pressure plate there, and then as soon as we're not looking at it, that pressure plate gets activated. So this system is a little bit smaller, but it is quite slow. Now, I was incredibly curious to see if the creaking worked a bit like cats, where if a cat is sat on top of a chest, you actually can't open it, and a comparator can't even read what's inside the chest. Like, look in here. This is full, but sadly, it doesn't. I thought that'd be a hilarious detection system. I think I'm getting a little bit distracted. Let's build some traps. While the skull sensor is a very good player detector, of course a player can get around it by shifting, but I don't know if there's any way that a player can get around looking at things. As you can see here, I've used the oldest trick in the book, the painting on signs, to make it so that this creaking can see us without us being able to see the creaking. Wow, that painting is incredible. I have never seen that one before. God, this looks like one of my old builds. Right, I think we have something sort of interesting going on here. So we've got a little room. Now it's time to hook up the trap. And I'm going to do this in obviously the most entertaining way. How many do we think? 5? Yeah, 5 should probably do the trick. So here I am, just a regular Minecraft player. I'm sneaking around. I'm trying to steal things. And I creep my way into this room. Oh my goodness, that made me jump. I wasn't expecting that at all. Oh, and now all my contraptions are gone. Well, this has been interesting. The creaking is a slightly quirky component inside of a redstone contraption. If you want to do something really niche, then it is now possible. I've really enjoyed experimenting with it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.